In this video, I'm going to be talking about everyday wellness, and in particular, I'm going to be talking about tasking and how we can self-task. And this particular concept of self-tasking is important for facilitating the process of developing a wellness infrastructure and actually starting to optimize the self and develop the self really, as well as to nourish the self and sustain the self, ultimately to sustain the self, is self-tasking. Coming up with tasks in which we plan out the beginning, a middle to, as well as an end, and really engage in a process of completing that task thoroughly, at least once or twice, and establishing it as a firm task that can be done, and then we can incorporate it as something that we can more semi-autonomously navigate at subsequent points after we have developed a really good base for the task. And I'll give you an example. Maybe it's just organizing a bookshelf that you have, and organizing that bookshelf to a certain standard, so you're wiping everything down, you're removing everything, you're maybe giving things a theme and organizing them in a particular way, or creating a certain feel or impression, and creating an atmosphere for it. And so you engage in that process, and maybe some things pop out and some things don't, that help you to redefine that task as you're ongoing. And then by the time you've completed the task initially, you have a gist idea or a good idea generally of the task and the nature of the task. Or maybe it's a simple enough task, and a task that you've seen done before and that you've engaged in before, that you go pretty quickly through that process, and it doesn't really take you too much effort to be able to define the characteristics of that task. And that allows you to develop a quicker definition and meaning for that task. But there's always going to be levels to complexity as we're completing the tasks. And as we define tasks and self-task more and more, we start to develop that tasking system within that particular category, that specific category of analysis. And we start to realize different ways of, say, completing the task, or more efficient strategies, and can improve upon that and innovate regarding the task, and even innovate on meta tasks regarding tasks, which can improve the processing speed and the efficiency of the task, as well as the energy and effort that could be reallocated somewhere else for a different purpose instead of serving that one particular purpose, and sometimes unnecessarily, and creating more of this waste that isn't needed, and that can be we can reutilize the valuable energy and effort somewhere else. And as we get better at self-tasking, we tend to become more efficient and innovative too, which is going to be very, very important. But setting a task simply is just to think about things throughout the day that would make your life a little bit better if you got completed, or things that you need to do. And it can pretty much pertain to any domain of your life, even any domain of your experience, and it can involve simple things such as cleaning or changing garbages, maybe taking care of plants, maintaining plants, doing yard work, getting physical activity or mindfulness meditation, and taking care of yourself, anything that can take care of yourself and other living organisms too, that you have feel a responsibility towards, or in which you can establish a practice. Like, say you have a house plant, and you bought that house plant for whatever reason. It's probably a good idea to take care of it, and to take care of it properly. This can also include learning and developing greater knowledge, and doing research too. So you might want to do research, say, about how to cook a particular recipe, or if a particular chemical can be used to address a particular issue in the house, with regarding various set of circumstances, be it cleaning or fixing something, creating a repair, or identifying an issue. and even problem solving in various ways, or sometimes just learning something new and exploring a chemical that you haven't really used too much or are familiar with, or just kind of suddenly noticed. It's just sort of always been there, so you get curious and explore it, and then you find out that there's all these uses. When we begin to create these micro tasks and different levels of variation of tasks, we start to develop more of this sense of self-direction and a greater capacity for self-direction that's key for developing greater wellness. But we also start to develop a practice of building better wellness habits that starts with tasking, and starts particularly with self-tasking, that really exercises very fundamental psychological aspects, such as problem solving, planning, brainstorming, being able to ideate and come up with all these ideas and think in advance, and then to organize your ideas, so manage your ideas, and also to incubate your ideas, develop your ideas out further, and to categorize them and manifest them in meaningful ways that have an impact, which allow for more innovative behaviors and efficacious behaviors that allow us to constantly adapt and develop a process that is based largely in task setting and largely in improving our own well-being and learning, as well as productivity, together through that process of self-tasking. So all I wanted to say for this video. Hope you enjoy.